We'll get those suckers.
It took me a couple of days to track the Daltons down.
They can't get away with this.
And in that time, a whole posse of local vigilantes offered to lend a hand.
Ah, c'est cool ça.
To the ends of the earth.
They seemed as determined as me to find those outlaws.
J'avais pas pensé à celle-ci.
But as we headed into those swamps, it was like I had my own private army. There was no way those boys were getting away this time.
Voilà. Ça c'est quoi, c'est le fusil d'or ou bien c'est le truc là, ok. Peut-être pas besoin de carabine.
It was early fall, right? Beautiful time of year. At least you had the weather on your side.
Not by my recollection. It was damp and foggy as hell.
Foulard rouge.
It was tough to stay on a true course, so we kept an eye out for landmarks.
Ok.
It was autumn. The maple trees were in full color, red as blood.
Red as blood.
The rains that year were torrential, so the whole area was flooded. The vigilantes had spread out wide, and pretty soon I couldn't see anybody.
Books. Something I can't read.
Bury them in the swamp. Plant them where they stand.
What the?
Except for some bitches ahead of me wanted to do me harm. So I had to face them alone.
Okay.
I wondered why my compatriots didn't come running when they heard the shots.
Ouais, ça pourquoi est-ce qu'ils viennent pas t'aider?
So did you find the Daltons?
Not yet. But I did have the questionable pleasure of meeting a few of their friends.
Je vois.
Sorry, son of a bitch.
Sorry, son of a bitch.
Yeah, you know you
Et
can't.
j'allais dire, ça va bien que j'en avais un de plus. Ok.
The boys had established quite a reputation by that time, so they attracted all manner of riffraff to their cause.
Well, that was a pleasant. Oh, ready for a belly full of butt shot? Blowing your ass up. I'm gonna run. They're gonna need a gun.
Et aussi il me balance. Et aussi il me balance des dynamites.
And my reinforcements was nowhere to be seen. Point being, I was under serious attack.
And I was under serious attack.
Goddamn bounty hunter.
Et là ça touche.
You'll die.
Ou attends. Non, ok.
But luckily, A barn materialized as if right before my eyes. I scrambled up top to get a better view, but just ended up falling inside.
So, how did you get out?
The barn doors was open. About right then, I saw some suspicious characters running for the bushes. Of course, I followed them. But that
no.
goddamn swamp was like a goddamn
course I
maze,
shot them.
and pretty soon I had no goddamn idea where I was.
I had no goddamn ideas where I was.
Steve? So I just started walking, and pretty soon, Steve? Steve?
Huh? Oh, no, I'm listening.
Indians surrounded me from all sides.
Indians?
They were Indians.
No. I just wanted to make sure Steve was paying attention. Now, where was I?
You were following the Daltons through a swamp?
That's right. See, Steve? Dwight's paying attention.
Oh, I'm listening. I was just resting my eyes.
Resting my eyes.
So, where was I?
The Daltons.
Right. See, there's a reason so many outlaw gangs are made up of brothers. Being a brother is a very sacred thing. It's a bond like no other.
It's a bomb like no other.
Bounty hunters! Stop that, so big!
What? Oh, that. Ok, c'est bon.
So did you ever find the damn Daltons?
Not yet. But I did find a few of their cousins. You Kansans breed like rabbits. More Smiths or Heimhoffers or who knows what. But hell, what's more important than family? I bet Ben knows what I'm talking about.
Ouh, joli ça. Where is he? Ok. Les flingues ici, c'est pas trop ça. No. Can't hide forever, but I can shoot you for a very long time. Hi.
Now you're in trouble. I'm in.
Attendez, vous savez quoi? Je vais recharger, ensuite je vais peut-être diminuer un petit peu le... les commandes. Sensibilité de la souris peut-être un peu moins. Non, ça reste comme ça. Voilà. Un petit peu moins de sensibilité de souris. Ça devrait être moins... un peu plus fluide pour vous. Okay. Now I'm starting to get peace.
That's it for you.
And I can't see shit in this goddamn swamp.
You or me? That gave me a goddamn headache.
boutade. Bon là. Chou. Aïe.
You call down the thunder.
Je sais pas où il est.
This has brought hell down on you.
I knew those Dalton boys were out there somewhere, standing together against anyone who would threaten them.
Je sais pas trop où il était. C'est juste une plante. Moi j'ai cru que c'était... Et où sont les
That's when I saw
vigilantes
it.
là?
A goddamn steamboat.
A steamboat in a swamp?
Yeah, Steve, but this wasn't much more than a wreck, really.
But how'd a damn steamboat end up in the swamps? Yes, it floated off during the flood of '89.
Now, was it a stern wheeler or a side wheeler?
What? Does that really make a difference, Steve? It was a steamboat with a goddamn army on board. It was then that a fusillade of bullets come raining down from on high. And those vigilantes who accompanied me weren't anywhere to be found. But among those men that were shooting at me, I thought I saw some familiar faces.
I'm ending you.
Donc il a reconnu des gens.
Somewhere up there, the Daltons were waiting on me.
Sounds like you don't give up too easy.
That's the kind of man I am, Ben. I set out to do something. I do it. Surrender just ain't in my nature. Plus, I'm stubborn as hell.
Tiens. Corps à corps. Ok, ça c'est pour retomber en bas. Putain, je crois que juste avec un flingue j'aurais assez. Voilà, comme ça c'est bien. Ça c'est l'autre côté. Ah! Envers?
Right about then, much to my relief, the vigilantes finally arrived. Their leader motioned at a cabin in the middle of the top deck, pointing me directly at the Daltons. I finally had them, after months of dogged pursuit.
Eh ben enfin, merci mec.
But it turned out that they had me.
Ow!
I'm sending you to hell.
I'm sending you to hell.
The Daltons had played me like a fiddle. Apparently, the vigilantes were on their damn payroll. They didn't just want to shoot me. They wanted to burn me alive. But finding my way out of a burning labyrinth proved to be quite a challenge.
It was a riverboat, right? I mean, it's not like it was a goddamn ocean liner.
Oh, yeah, but I was in a
Did you hear
fight.
about that ship that's gonna launch next year? Largest one in the world.
You're
well,
talking about the Titanic. If you ask me, it's too blessed big. I don't think it'll even float.
So anyway,
Don't be stupid, Steve. They know what they're doing. They say that the Titanic is unsinkable.
oh God.
But getting back to that steamboat, how'd you get off it, Mr. Greaves?
I took in a lot of smoke that day, so I admit my recollection might be a bit hazy. But somehow I managed to finally disembark. It was time to settle this once and for all.
Avec munitions illimitées. On peut quand même tirer un petit peu. Alors je ne sais pas combien de balles il y avait dans un chargeur de Gatling, mais pas autant que ça je pense.
Weren't
on
about
recharge.
to come at me one at a time. They were in this together. Two brothers side by side, determined to take me down. Confident that this time the odds were on their side.
Maintenant je sais que je peux éviter les balles. Non! Faut d'abord que je tire sur celui-là, on dirait. Oh
They
oui!
got it wrong. A sad end for those two.
Bon, je l'ai
If
tiré
they'd
dans
only
l'épaule, mais c'est
known
pas
that
grave.
Emmett was still alive despite his wounds. Paroled 14 years later, he moved to California and sold real estate and lived off the legend of that fateful day
Ben voilà, je t'ai tiré dans
and
l'épaule,
the
ensuite t'es
tragic
devenu...
death of his two brothers.
Un point. Ça j'ai déjà tout, on va prendre juste là pour débloquer le truc. Carabine argentée. Après avoir réussi à éviter une balle mortelle, vous effectuez automatiquement un tir en pleine tête sur le tireur et vous recevez un peu de concentration en prime. Inefficace contre les boss légendaires, trop rompu à l'exercice. Oui, quand je vais maintenant pouvoir éviter les balles, après, je vais tuer directement le mec. Allez, on continue, et puis après ça, on s'arrêtera.
My own brothers died tragically as well, truth be told.
En 68.
It was 1868, and me and my older brothers were pulling a tidy profit running cattle into Juarez, Mexico. One night after my brothers retired for the evening, I found a little poker game in a cantina with a couple of cowboys. And I just couldn't lose. I even won an old Spanish coin that had to be 100 years old. Well, I was mighty pleased with myself the next morning as my brothers and I rode for Texas. But before we crossed the border, those cowboys caught up with us.
Mauvais
It was
perdant.
Johnny Ringo, Roscoe Bob Bryant, and another asshole named Jim. They wanted their money back and everything else we had, including our lives, as those boys didn't want us coming for them later. Bob put that old Spanish coin in my mouth and said, "I won't have it said that I left you with nothing, boy." Well, those horses bolted, and there we hung as those bastards rode away. The branch finally snapped under the weight of the three of us, but being my older brothers were bigger and heavier, they were already dead. And right then I swore to myself that I would avenge them. Ringo you know about. But Bob eluded me until I heard he was riding with the Wild Bunch.
And he's gonna pay for that. Bob Bryan n'a jamais intégré le Wild Bunch. Ah. Allez, on est parti. Après ça, on va s'arrêter.
I'd been on their trail for months, ever since they left their hideout in the Bighorn Mountains. Led by Butch Cassidy, they were a loose association of outlaws who robbed banks and trains from Colorado to Montana. Among them was the Sundance Kid, and that murderous hombre I was tracking, Roscoe Bob Bryant.
Were you a part of that giant Pinkerton posse after the Wild Bunch?
No, boy. A circus like that would have slowed me down. Besides, I wanted Bryant all to myself.
Oh, to myself.
I heard about a large shipment of gold being transported to Wilcox, Wyoming on the Overland Flyer. I figured the Wild Bunch would likely hit such a treasure, and by God, I figured right. They blew the bridge with the intention of forcing the train to stop.
Bah, il s'est arrêté.
Well, I
Hein.
assumed the Wild Bunch was likely in the still intact part of the train high above. So I had no choice but to make my way up through the passenger cars dangling down. I was determined to make that sumbitch Bob pay for what he did to my brothers.
C'est quoi ça?
I found the device they used to blow the tracks, so I knew I was headed in the right direction.
My ears are still ringing from blowing up that bridge. What'd you say? I can't hear a goddamn thing.
Well, I made my way off unscathed and came upon a few members of the gang and had no choice but to dispatch them.
Hell?
From there, I had to negotiate an even more precarious route. But first, I would need to get my ass out of there.
Putain, y a plein de dynamite.
I jumped from the frying pan into the fire as the train was clearly fixing to fall. I had found the gang, but in order to find old Bob, I needed to fight my way forward past a whole passel of desperados.
Non.
Outside, inside, any way I could, I made my way towards my prey.
Je voulais pas lancer une dynamite. Je recommence. Il y en a encore un là.
Well, what about the passengers?
It was mostly a freight train, as I recall. There were no passengers aboard that day.
Ouh, plein de têtes.
This asshole don't know who he's up against.
Yeehaw!
As I mentioned before, I am not fond of heights. But I was too busy dodging bullets to worry about falling to my death. Odds were I was likely to die that day anyway. So I was determined to take down as many of those bastards as I could.
Those are my friends you killed.
Oh yeah? Well, you killed my brother.
At times, it was like shooting ducks in a shooting gallery. The only difference is these damn ducks shot back. I kept hoping the law would show up and give me a
You
hand.
mean like that giant Pinkerton posse that I read about? Did they come riding in, guns a-blazing to help?
Pinkerton versus Wild Bunch, la horde sauvage.
Help? From the Pinkertons? No, son. I had to fight the Wild Bunch all by my lonesome, as usual.
As usual.
Who the hell is that? Take cover! Retreat! Retreat! He's killing everybody! Now you're dead. They'll kill us all! Run!
Ouais, j'ai bien dans l'intention de tous vous tuer. De l'autre côté peut-être? Ah non, juste. Whoa.
My guess is those dime novels didn't portray this as it happened, did they?
Attrape.
Only a few stragglers were left, and I had to cut them down pronto if I was going to stay on old Bob's trail.
Duck, you sucker! Succès déverrouillé et tir au pigeon. Ah.
Once I silenced all those guns, I went searching for my nemesis, determined to finally have my justice. But the only survivor who welcomed me was George Flat-Nosed Curry.
Who was he?
The fastest gun in the gang. Right after Sundance, I mean. And Kid Curry, and maybe Elsie Lay. Though some folks might dispute that.
En gros, c'est pas le plus rapide, quoi.
On that very same day, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid decided to leave the Wild Bunch behind and decamped for South America.
Ah, je deviens meilleur.
They ended up living down there for many years, but I'm sure you already know all about that.
George Flat-Nosed Curry. Ouh. Un point. 2 carabines à canoncier. L'heure de la vengeance, ça sonne quand vous maniez un canoncier. Appuyez sur molette vers le haut ou 3 pour passer en mode 2 armes. Pour le fun, mais à mon avis je ne le ferai jamais parce que les canonciers c'est trop... c'est pas à portée du tout. Allez, sur ça je vous dis à la prochaine. J'espère que ça vous a plu et soyez heureux.